What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Force Feed, your show for gaming news and updates without all that boring stuff. It is Tuesday, January 17th, and today we will be discussing demos for Reckoning and Syndicate, Mortal Kombat on the go, Max Payne 3 delayed, Tera gets a release date, and Uncharted 3 DLC. Let's jump into the news. The demo for Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning is now currently available on Xbox Live, PSN, and Steam for the PC. Now, playing the demo is going to unlock items for Mass Effect 3, but most importantly, you get to play Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. It's a great demo to check out with a 30-minute tutorial introduction followed up by a 45-minute timed free roam. Clocking in at just over an hour, it is a very lengthy demo and gives you a good feeling for the game. This is really going to be a great way to tell if it's something that you are interested in picking up. I will be doing an episode of Demo Up for Reckoning, so be sure to keep an eye out for that in the near future. A 4-player co-op demo for Syndicate will be coming to Xbox Live and PSN sometime in the end of January. Although no specific date has been set, it is something to keep an eye out for as we are coming up near the end of the month. Now, in this demo, you're going to have access to one of the 9 co-op missions in the game called Western Europe. The full game is available on February 21st in North America and February 24th in Europe. A port of last year's Mortal Kombat will be coming to the PlayStation Vita sometime in the spring of 2012. Now, with this port, we are looking to get some new original game content as well as new features. This is going to be a great thing to take a look at for all of you Mortal Kombat fans. Max Payne 3 has been delayed. It was originally set to launch in March, but now has been pushed back until May. Now, it will be coming out on May 15th for PS3 and Xbox 360, and then May 29th for the PC. An explanation for the delay did come out from Take-Two's CEO in saying, "We do not take changes to our release schedule lightly, and this short delay will ensure that Max Payne 3 delivers the highest quality, groundbreaking entertainment experience that is expected from our company." So yes, Max Payne 3 will now be coming out in May. NMAS Entertainment's MMO Tera, originally scheduled for launch in the fall of 2011, now has an official release date of May 1st. Now, Tera does boast a dynamic combat system that focuses on aiming, timing, and positioning. I'm sure this is going to be a good change of pace for many fans of the MMO genre, and it is a game that I suggest taking a look at. New Uncharted 3 DLC is currently available in the form of 4 reworked Uncharted maps. The maps are going to include Cave, Fort, Lost City, and Sanctuary. Now, with this, we did get the addition of dynamic lighting effects, new particle effects, and a slew of new technical changes. Fortune Hunter Club members can get access to the maps for free, and non-members can get the maps for $9.99. Now, the studio does also plan to release 3 new multiplayer character skins at some point in the future. And we will be wrapping things up with a question of the day. Today's question comes from Dylan, and he asks, "Force, you spend a lot of time in your feeds talking about pirating. You also make it clear that you're against straight-up stealing. I think a majority of people also understand that stealing is wrong, but what do you think about the fact that more and more game developers seem to be throwing their customers under the bus for a quick profit? Do you think an argument could be made that some gamers are just protecting themselves from effectively being plundered themselves, or do you unequivocally take the side of the game developers, that irrespective of what the argument is, under no circumstances should a person attempt to acquire a game without purchasing it? Additionally, do you think if returns resale prices were better, or gamers were allowed to try a product for a set period of time before being locked into their purchase, that we would see a drastic decrease in pirating?" Well, Dylan, when it comes to pirating, you are absolutely correct. I think it's wrong, I think it's stealing, and I think people shouldn't do it. Now, there are 2 major arguments that I typically see for pirating that I'd like to touch on for a moment and just respond to. The first argument that I typically see for pirating is that it's a demo. If game companies made better games on a more regular basis, people wouldn't pirate games. They feel like they have to try the game out first before they buy it, because chances are more likely that it's going to be a bad game that they don't want to spend their money on. The second argument that I see for pirating is that prices are too high. Depending on where you live in the world, prices may very well be higher than that of the US releases, and people state that if they were more on par with US releases, then they wouldn't feel like they have to pirate. So let's go to that first argument, the argument of a game demo. And this is the one that I'm kind of most in line with. I still don't think people should be pirating games, but at the same time, I think that as a whole, the game industry should be more dedicated to putting out demos for games. This is going to be a great way for people to try the games before they buy them and decide if it's worth their money. Even if it's a 20 or 30-minute demo, I think it is well worth it. Now that's going to bring us back to the question of, well, the game companies maybe don't want to put out these demos because they know their games are bad. I don't think many people go into producing a game knowing that it is bad, because if you produce a game that you know is bad, then you know sales are going to be bad, and that's obviously not what you're looking for. The game companies trying to make money are going to produce a game as high quality as is possible so that they can get a good rep and sell more and more copies. That's just a fact. If a game is bad, people are going to know about it pretty quickly, and sales are going to plummet as a result. So I don't necessarily think that game companies knowingly put out a bad product. I do think sometimes products may be rushed due to deadlines, and that a lot of times has to do with the publishers more so than the developers. But I do think that the developers as a whole certainly do try to put out quality products. But again, I think demos would help alleviate a lot of pirating issues, because once more, I see a lot of people say, I only pirate because I want to try out the game. So more game demos, I do think, would result in less pirating. Now, the second major issue is pricing, and this is something that I also understand, but I don't think it is necessarily going to be a direct reason to pirate a game. Prices are different in various parts of the world for multiple reasons. You have to keep in mind that taxes play a huge role in why game prices are different from the US and where they are released elsewhere. There are numerous other factors, and this could be a very long and in-depth conversation, but I'm just going to let you know that you do have to realize there are other factors besides the publishers just trying to charge more that do play into game prices. It is only going to take a quick Google search to find out what those factors are. In fact, I remember not too long ago there was an article posted up on Joystick, I believe, talking about game prices in Australia. It was either Joystick or Kotaku, I really don't remember. But it really went in depth as to why there were price discrepancies, and that's an article I suggest taking a look at. So go ahead and Google game prices, why are games so overpriced in Australia, and that might give you some insight there if you happen to find the article. In fact, you know what, I'll put the article in the video description below rather than having you search for it all willy-nilly. But again, I realize there are multiple factors as to why people feel like they need to pirate, but either way, I don't think it's a good reason, and especially when it comes to pricing. People say, I can't afford this, so I'm going to pirate it. I can't afford a Lamborghini. I'm not going to go steal one. Yes, that's a tangible good as opposed to kind of intellectual property, a game. But that doesn't make it any better. People put time, effort, and energy into making this product, and although it's just a digital copy of the game rather than physical material and a physical product, it's still something that you're expected to pay for. And just because you can steal it much more easily than you could steal a Lamborghini doesn't mean you should. But that's just my opinion, and who really cares? Alright guys, that is going to do it for this episode of the Force Feed. As always, I thank you so much for watching. Please stay tuned tomorrow for another episode, keeping you up to date on all the most recent gaming news and announcements. And once again, this has been Force, and you have just been Force Fed.